Living in the modern world without a lot of money is difficult to move around, especially as a man. Society as a whole expects you to make such and such amount, and when you don't make a certain amount of money, your options are limited. You limit where you can live, what you can eat, or whom you can spend your time with. Life is hard when you're not making six figures, but it's not impossible. It took me a while before I broke six figures. I actually broke six figures at the age of 23. And I don't say this to brag because I've been staying on the low six figures for the last 3 years. And to a lot of people, it's not a lot of money. But to a lot of other people, it is a lot of money. In fact, less than 10% of men actually make over $100,000 a year. Why? I actually don't know why. Maybe because we're lazy, maybe because we just don't care about money, or maybe we just don't know any better. I personally believe it's because we just don't know how, which is crazy for me to even think about because now, knowing what I know now, there's thousands of ways to make over six figures, especially with the internet being out now. There's literally hundreds of videos teaching you how to break six figures, which brings me to the topic of today's video. I want to teach you the how. Now, it took me a while to learn this, but it's actually the easiest way to break six figures. I actually tell people to learn a high income skill. You have to become someone who can do something that most people cannot do. A high income skill can pay you in multiples depending on the difficulties of the job, meaning the less people whom can do what you do, the higher people will be willing to pay you. And there's thousands of careers out there that are considered a high income skill. However, the easiest high income skill out there to allow you to break six figures is sales. And I might be a little biased because it worked for me, but sales has gone back to the beginning of time where it's always been a lucrative business. There's actually a point in history where people strived to be salesmen, where they would travel and get paid to do so. The only problem was that eventually people started to dislike salesmen because they were seen as shady people, cons, or people just didn't trust them. Personally, I believe we need salesmen. We need them in this world because people need to be sold, or else we wouldn't have an economy that works. Now, there's thousands of sales careers out there, and not all of them pay the same. In fact, before the sales that I currently do now, I had 2 other sales jobs before this. One was working at a retail store at the mall, and the other one was at a mobile cellular store when I was working at T-Mobile. However, I don't really like to consider those real sales jobs because the environment is controlled. Plus, I got paid an hourly, which can affect your pay. Not many people are aware of all these other types of sales jobs like medical sales, IT sales, or even construction sales. These types of sales require more of an edge where you get paid only on commission. You get paid based on what you sell. And not everyone is cut out for these types of sales. But that's what makes them high income careers, where not everyone can do it. Not everyone's cut out for this type of work. And the type of sales that I do construction sales. So I sell anywhere from roofing, solar, windows, paint, and anything that you can do on a house. And I love it. This career has completely changed my life, not only financially, but mentally. I broke 6 figures my second year in this career. However, it wasn't easy. It took me a really long time to get good at this types of sales. In fact, I still remember overthinking and praying and hoping that all of this will work out for me. But it wasn't prayer that got me to break 6 figures. In fact, it was actually these 3 things that allowed me to break 6 figures. The first one being knowing my pitch. You see, I've seen a lot of salesmen come and go in my industry. In fact, the retention rate in my industry is about 10%, meaning 1 out of 10 people who try to join my industry will probably stay. And I think that may be the percentage for every other commission-only gig, right? I think that's the reason why only 10% of men make over 100K a year. But I don't really think it should be that low because I've seen some really good salesmen come into my industry and try to make it. The only problem was that they didn't invest the time to learn the product and learn the system. They thought that it was going to be like their old gig where they can just be a smooth talker and get away with it. It didn't work for them. When you're dealing with high valued products, the customer always wants to make sure that they're getting their money's worth. And if you don't know how to provide value for the thing that you're selling, you're not gonna get many sales. Yeah, you'll get a hiccup here and there, and you'll get a sale there and here, but usually their luck runs out. It's the reason why most salesmen don't make it past the 4th month. Because it's hard. You can't rely solely on skill. It requires routine, meaning having consistent energy, following a system and following all the procedures. The only problem is that people get lazy. They bring old habits from their old gig and don't really take the time to learn the product. If you're trying to break 6 figures in sales, you have to learn your product. You have to learn it like it's the back of your hand. Seriously, I remember when I was just starting out, my whole entire room was filled with notes and I would practice countlessly, morning and nights, just trying to perfect my pitch. It's that type of energy that's gonna allow you to get to the next level. The second thing that allowed me to break 6 figures was having a mentor. Honestly, if it wasn't for this guy taking me under his wing, I wouldn't be in the position that I'm at now. I like to consider myself a mini him. Everything that he learned over the years, I just picked it up, and it wasn't easy because it wasn't like I was in a classroom taking notes and learning all of this. No, far from it. I was actually out in the field and learning the hard way, which is the best way to learn when you're out there and actually taking action. So how does this even help you? Well, simple. Let's say you're just starting a brand new sales job. 90% of the time, I can tell you right now that there's one top salesman in your company, meaning he's probably making the money that you want to make. Your job as a new guy is to make friends with him. Show him that you're not your regular Joe Schmo and you want to take this thing seriously. At first, he's probably not going to pay any attention to you, and it's going to seem like he doesn't even want to help you. And I say this because it happened to me. But these types of people, including myself now, only want to see one thing, that you're really about it. Because I've seen so many salesmen tell me that they want to make 6 figures. And when it's really time to put in the work to break 6 figures, they're not really about it. They don't really want it because it's hard. To get to this type of level, it requires a lot of discipline, a lot of hard work, and a lot of sacrifice. A lot of which a lot of people aren't willing to do. Find a mentor. And if the top person in the company doesn't want to help you, because chances are it can probably happen, then find the second best person or even the third best person. Whatever it is, find someone willing to help you. And trust me, when you're ready, your teacher is going to show up. Lastly, in order for you to break 6 figures in sales, you have to believe. And I know it's gonna sound kind of corny and ironic because every single self-help guru out there tells you to believe and it's gonna work out. But without the other first 2 things that I mentioned above, praying and believing is only going to get you so far. However, there's something about visualization that has some sort of influence in this world, where you've heard the term speak things into existence, right? Well, speaking from experience, I like to believe in that sort of stuff. Heck, I remember being in college and telling everyone that as soon as I got out of college, I would break 6 figures. And I did. Was it magic? No. Was it faith? I like to think so. Was it hard work? Definitely. Most people don't take the time to visualize what they want their future to be like. You have to stop and think about what you want in this world. Write down your goals. That way your mind knows where you're going and what you want out of this whole world. By doing this, the universe is going to start to align your world with what you're thinking about. If you're doing the 2 other things that I mentioned before, it's just a matter of time before things work in your favor. I know some of you were probably watching this video so you can figure out a new way to sell your clients. But if you can't get this down, you're not going to be able to improve your skills as a closer. Everyone starts somewhere. And if you're just starting out, everything that I mentioned in today's video is all the gold that you need. I figured all of this out on my own and it worked for me. I know it'll work for you. And if it doesn't, message me and I'll show you what you're doing wrong. Making 6 figures is hard, but it's not impossible, especially not in sales. If you're in sales and you're not making 6 figures, you're probably just selling the wrong product. It's gonna take some time to break 6 figures. And hard work is something that cannot be ignored when doing this. If you wanna make 6 figures in sales, you're gonna have to work like you want it. And I'll be the first to tell you, no one knows how hard you work besides yourself. Anyways, hopefully you found some value in this video. And if you're just starting out in sales, hopefully you break 6 figures this year. Remember, if you did like the video, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.